Destiny, a prominent live streamer who got his name in the online sphere playing StarCraft, and he has since then transitioned to the political commentary world. And we're going to talk about Destiny, but Destiny is, I guess, a symbol of the overall problem with the quote-unquote political sphere on the internet, YouTube specifically, and even in live streaming spaces. The commentary industry as well, you have people like Destiny, Asmongold, XQC, who else? Turkey Tom. You have a lot of these like middle of the pack or supposed liberal commentators. But there's so many problems with this space on the internet, and I don't know if it has to do with the anonymity of the internet, but I feel like people who talk like this.
So like they're doing this thing with like these deportations where they bring in like celebrities to deport people, and it made me wonder, what is the probability that Tom Homan would let me go with him dressed up as Ash Ketchum with watching them do deportations?
Like doing this shit in public, like you would get publicly shamed, or doing this in high school, doing this in college, doing this in middle school, acting like this dude over here in real life would get you bullied. So why am I bringing up Destiny in particular right now though? Well, it has recently come out that Destiny has allegations and accusations against him yet again after surfaces of an alleged chat log between him and supposedly a minor at the time is being spread around the internet and Twitter and things of that sort. Every single time, I feel like it's like an every other month thing. Destiny just finds himself in some new allegations with some minor, and I'm just tired. I'm sick of the excuses. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And this guy has had so many allegations levied against him. I just don't understand how he still has fans on the internet. And this is what I think the issue is in this space, in the commentary space and the political space, is you have guys like this running it.
The entire BLM movement was a whole waste of fucking time. And that fat fuck George Floyd that got killed, nobody fucking cares. Any other person that died because of it, nobody fucking cares. Nothing happened, nothing changed, because nobody understood how the system worked and nobody understood what they were actually advocating for.
There's not enough normal people on the internet, and I think that's the issue. And I definitely want to create something where normal people can go to and not be in this toxic environment. I don't know. But it's the truth. There's just not enough normal places to go on the internet for people who want to socialize how they would in real life, you know, on the internet. I don't think there's enough of that, like coffee shop talk, or like you're at the bar watching sports with your buddies and stuff like that. There isn't like places like that you can go in online communities. Instead, it's just dominated by like incel, edgy gaming, like, and nothing against gaming, but like it's just dominated by like these degenerate traits. And the political sphere in particular, like, it's awful. Like, I feel like these supposed liberal commentators like Destiny really don't practice what they preach. Like, supposedly you're for progressive taxes, you want people to not be racist, but meanwhile you do racist jokes. And I use jokes very lightly. Like, I'm sure if he was reacting to my video or something, he'd be like, oh brother, it's just jokes or something. But when you're saying things like this,
the kid's not gonna kill them.
I'm a necrophiliac pedophile.
That's the holy fucking sentence.
After you kill them, I have my way with them.
it just doesn't come off as a joke. And it's a little different when you say it because you have a history of being weird. And he has this persona on the internet. A lot of people on the internet have this persona of being like this smart genius because of their rhetoric, right? They sell it. They sell these debates. That's what Destiny does. He does these debates with right-wingers. And with the right-wingers, sure, it's so easy to ideologically dominate them in the marketplace of ideas because right-wingers don't come from a place of logic, so it's easy to dismantle them. But put an actual progressive person in front of Destiny and he doesn't use actual logical argumentation to tackle his hypocrisy. We're in August of 2025. I mean, he's one of the most prominent Israel defenders, and look how that's aging. More than 50% of America is against Israel now. Yet you have this dude flying to Israel talking to IDF soldiers, and Take a listen to the stuff that he's saying.
I think Israel has unique issues. Here's the one piece of advice I'll give you, okay? If you're joining the IDF, okay? Leave your fucking cell phone at home and stop taking stupid fucking videos, okay? Because everybody's fucking you with them, okay? And if you see a soldier, okay, going through a fucking drawer, and listen, if you want to fucking wear a dress and you think it's funny, just don't fucking take a fucking video picture of it, okay? Jesus. Okay, yeah.
But he has a certain way of using better rhetoric. Like, he'll freak out when he's like pushed on the defense and like totally just yell his way out of a tight corner.
Managed investment accounts. You cannot just take fucking loans against them, or you cannot just withdraw from them for no reason. You have to be able to show hardship in order to do it. That's the whole point of these tax advantage accounts.
And dilute, like totally fool people watching him. Like, oh, he's winning the debate. He's winning the debate. But this is definitely one debate that I don't think he will be winning. At least from the public eye. Legality, he might have some sort of defense. I'm not I know in his response to these allegations, he mentioned something like in his statement that to the Willie Mack show, who is someone I also don't ideologically agree with, but he's the one that did this expose on these allegations and brought it to the limelight. Right, so the whole issue or the whole defense that Destiny's using is that the text messages circulating online and the images circulating online is that he doesn't know that if the person in question was 17 or older than that at the time. In the private DMs that Destiny had with Willie Mack, he basically says the following: I created a copy of all our messages and everything when that court case started. Bruh, there's been allegations since at least my last video that she was underage and you still have potential CP of her. Destiny then goes, I have an obligation to preserve relevant evidence, etc. So I created backups of all the important and relevant conversations with her. That's nuts, man, Willie Mack says. And then Destiny goes, I don't think I'm allowed to delete it, lol. I don't know if it counts as hiding, destroying evidence. Now, listen, I'm not a legal YouTuber, but I'm going to let this legal YouTuber explain the hypocrisy of what Destiny's kind of saying here.
Anything that's relevant and you try to hide it or destroy it, you can be punished by the court, including criminally, for trying to hide or destroy evidence. So Destiny, when he said he has a legal duty, and listen up, Destiny fans, Destiny is right about that. But however, pause, he's sort of right about that. And he's forgetting about all those other duties that are out there and all those other responsibilities. He's forgetting about privilege. And this is where I think he did not talk to his lawyer, because if his lawyer knew he was going to have this conversation, he would have certainly said no, because it made his job a living hell for the lawyer. The other problem is we've got privilege. So any information that had been protected by attorney-client privilege, that super strong privilege, you can throw lawyers in jail and they don't have to break attorney-client privilege. That duty is absolutely waived when you speak to a third party, when you disclose to a third party. However, if you leak information intentionally, privilege is lost forever. So here's the issue. He spoke to Willie Mack voluntarily. There was no obligation. There was no court order. There was no gun to his head. There's no duress. There was no money. There's no nothing else. There's nothing going on here, right? There wasn't any sort of situation where this could be argued as an inadvertent disclosure. This was an intentional disclosure, fully intentional. There's no way this was not voluntary. So that's the problem. All the privilege on this is waived now. So all of, for example, talking about Pixie and that lawsuit, they can come after that because there's no privilege on that anymore. That's just wide open.
The first issue is that he's speaking to Willie Mack and kind of, I feel like a real lawyer would be like, do not say a word, don't say anything, don't implicate yourself, don't do X, Y, and Z. But now his conversation with Willie Mack will be used against him in court. And again, let's say that this person is under the age of 17. As the legal YouTuber explained, that intent doesn't matter when you're in possession of CP.
So there are certain types of crimes called strict liability. So most, but not all, criminal charges related to CSAM are strict liability. And what that means is, with strict liability means your state of mind does not matter. So your specific intent does not matter.
But either way, like I said, I don't want to get into the legalities of this whole situation. I more so want to talk about the efficacy of this whole thing. Like, how do you find yourself in this position? How do you find yourself in this position? You are 33 or 35, I forget. You're 30 plus years of age talking to, you know, people more than 10 years younger than you. Like, just because it's legal doesn't mean it looks good or it's right. And listen, if you can't even keep it in your pants, like what authority do you have when it comes to talking about politics? I feel like politics also should come from a place, it should come from a messenger who kind of exemplifies good characteristics. That is my belief. Now, that isn't everyone's belief, but a good leftist, a good liberal to me is someone who exemplifies good character. And Destiny is anything but that. And if anything, he hurts the cause more than it helps. And a lot of these political commentators say a bunch of unhinged shit all the time. There wouldn't be clips of that if, in my opinion, they had good characteristics, they were moral people, and they came from a place of empathy. I mean, also think about it. You have the likes of people like Asmongold saying shit like this.
They're apologizing, and that's a guy by the name of Asmongold. Because you've got tons of people pissed off at this guy, tons of people calling for him to be banned, and that's because during a live stream yesterday, he started talking about Israel and Palestine, and he said about Palestinians.
I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
So unsurprisingly, you have tons outraged online, people saying he's actively advocating for genocide, tons of people comparing his comments to Nazi rhetoric, but then all of that leading to later that night, Asmongold walking back some of his original comments on X. Writing, looking back on it, I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing. My bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid shit like that. I'll do better. But given the situation, how things went down, not a ton of people are buying it. Right, among other things, saying he's only doing this to save face amid calls for him to get banned or removed from OTK. Also, going back to that note on people calling for him to get banned, actually, as I was recording today's show, he got banned from Twitch. So notably, one, it was described as a temporary ban, and two, it was the specific Zach Rohr channel, and Asmongold has several channels.
In the real world, these people would be bullied, like just plain and simple, for just saying bullshit, for saying unhinged shit. And at least in Destiny's case, like, they hide behind this, oh, it's just an edgy joke, bro, we're just being edgy, like, haha. He tried to like out edgy joke his way out of this as well. Like, there was like some tweets he was saying and not taking this seriously, but this is something serious. Like, you can't out edge yourself out of CP allegations, right? We remember the whole James Charles situation and how he kept finding himself time and time again with minors, allegedly. Just apply the same logic to Destiny. He's always finding himself in these compromising positions. He cannot keep it in his pants. And another thing I wanted to mention, I'm just going to mention this briefly because this has to do with his child who's on the internet. He's about like 14 years of age. He has access to Twitter and all this stuff. Well, he's blocked from Destiny on Twitter, but you can just see the cries of help this child has, and you can see the effects of a father not being in his life. And who knows if that's good or bad, because when your father is someone like Destiny, do you really want someone like that in your life? So he's already behind the 8 ball, this his kid. And again, I'm gonna give him the benefit of doubt. You know, he's a young kid, but he says a lot of right-wing shit, and he's basically like saying like Nazi propaganda and stuff. But if you can't even convince your own kid to be an empathetic person and see the world in a empathetic way, in a healthy way, what authority do you have to talk to others? And I think these are valuable questions to ask, because on the internet, we have this guy propped up as like Jimmy Neutron, as like a boy genius when it comes to politics, or when it comes to debating in the marketplace of ideas, bro. And I just think I think it's stupid. I think the whole political and commentary sphere needs a whole revamp, in my opinion. We need a lot more normal people. I'm gonna be biased. Fucking going to the gym, watching sports, having hobbies, going outside, talking to people, socializing. I think a lot of these aspects helps normalize people. I know it's not a very systematic and it's a very anecdotal thing that I'm mentioning, but again, I feel like if you put If you put these creators in this space, in a social setting, they're just gonna wallow in the corner, and they feel so powerful being behind a camera streaming and stuff like that, and only having to react to like anonymous chatters or comments. Anonymity is both a good and bad thing on the internet, because if you're anonymous, you're gonna act what's stopping you from acting like an asshole? No one knows who you are. And I also feel like the internet as a whole is pretty, it leans pretty right. I mean, look at the whole podcast sphere that just happened this previous election. All of those guys pretty much had Trump on, and I'm not saying that that's why he won, but it definitely amplified the conservative and Trump caucus. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I imagine a place on the internet, I imagine communities, and I'm in some of these communities on the internet, and I'm glad to be a part of like certain little pockets on the internet where, you know, you could talk about benching 2 plates, and then also like, I don't know, talk about like the Yankees and Knicks, and also talk about Sabrina Carpenter's new release and Labubu's or something like that, and, you know, not having to hear the N-word joke every 4 seconds. But I imagine more places like that on the internet, and it starts with content creators practicing what they preach, especially when it comes to commentary, especially when it comes to political talk. It's very important that you practice what you preach, right? You want progressive taxes, you want progressive, you know, healthcare covered for you, you want free education. That all comes from a place of empathy. And without it, I feel like, what are you? Like, I don't know. Well, where does it come from then? Why do you want that for others? Do you just want that for others because, you know, you're trying to shill or like sell something? Or do you truly want the best for others? And even then, I feel like content creators like Destiny and these supposed liberals online don't really challenge like the Democratic Party enough to give us what we want, because that's another obstacle that people on the left have to overcome. Not only stuff from Trump and the right-wing caucus, but also challenges within our own party. And you need people to challenge our own party, because if you don't challenge your own party, like, you're just a mouthpiece for them. You're an independent, quote-unquote, content creator that doesn't challenge the ideas of the Democratic Party, and that's not how it should be. You know, not carrying CP is definitely a start. And that's the baseline. And that whole organization of Unfuck America or something like that, like, it recently came out, something came out recently where the Unfuck America organization and a bunch of all these other liberal content creators are also getting, you know, lobbying money. They're getting paid from the Democratic Party, the DNC, through different kind of super PAC groups and funding and donations. And some of those stipulations, when you start accepting money, similar to politicians when they accept lobbying money, they can't challenge like the institutions, they can't challenge their co-workers, they can't challenge their fellow content creators. And again, at that point, you're just a mouthpiece. You have no opinions of your own. You're being silenced. And now, one of the best things about the internet is, I feel like on the internet, there are people out there that can sense when someone's being authentic. They can smell the bullshit out. And that, to me, I think is one of the best things about the internet. Is like, sure, you have communities like Destiny though, and you have like dominated, toxic pockets in the internet and communities, but you're also able to make pockets on the internet where, you know, it is stable, it is normal, and people just want to seek out that authenticity that they interact with in real life on the internet. And that's why when I see like comments and likes, even if like you're disagreeing with me, I truly enjoy reading all the comments and discourse about anything of the stuff that I'm saying, for example. And, you know, there's definitely going to be a lot of pushback in the beginning. Like, I certainly get a lot of right-wingers on this channel and just internet broken people in general, but I also get a lot of like normal comments too, and I appreciate that, because I feel like that is the majority of people. They're not as loud as the silent minority on the internet. But if you keep creating places on the internet where those people can have a voice, it'll be the majority someday. And then we can go back to bullying people like Destiny and Asmongold. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to be toxic or anything myself, but we definitely need to bring shame back. We definitely need to bring back bullying in certain cases. But yeah, I am definitely glad to see the Destiny downfall. That community is definitely very toxic. They brigade everything on Reddit, on Twitter, on YouTube. But I think it's important to call that shit out. Like, the more people that call them out, the less power you give them. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just can't, I cannot believe this story. It's just wild. I can keep going on about this. I think I got everything that I wanted to talk out of the way, though. I wanted to talk about Destiny specifically in his litigation and the efficacy around it. And I also wanted to talk about the political and commentary sphere as well. Like I said, definitely need to revamp, definitely need an update in this side of the internet when it comes to those two things. I feel like there's a lot of immoral people, not so moral people that like have the loudest voices in these spaces specifically. So yeah, but I think I got everything that I wanted to out of the way. So until the next video, keep doing those benches and bicep curls, keep on sipping matcha teas. But until the next video, I am your internet bro, Raph. Until the next video, I am outski.